morning. It's Thursday, March 4th. Let's take a look at what we're doing for math today. We're headed into lesson 2, which is called complementary and supplementary angles. So we spent a couple days this week doing lesson 1, being able to just classify and identify angles such as obtuse, acute, right, straight, vertical, and adjacent. And today in lesson 2, we're going to get into, again, what's called complementary and supplementary angles. So to review what you did in lesson 1, you're going to start with a warm-up today. And so I will bring that slide up here in just a second. You just need some lined paper to write some of your answers down for that warm-up. And then after that, we'll go through the lesson 2. And I'm going to do that a couple different ways. I have some videos to show you. We're going to look at some vocabulary again from your vocab sheet. And then we're going to head into the book. And then as a reminder, just talking about what's coming up, we know the end of the trimester is March 19th, so a couple weeks away. We still have Alex due every Sunday, so you have a couple more days to get this week's grade all set. And then Monday next week, we're going to do our first quick check for lesson 7, and that's going to be on lessons 1 and 2 to go through and review your angles. So we're going to start with the warm-up. Here that is. And so on this warm-up, like I said, on a separate sheet, go ahead and answer questions number 1, 2, and 3. Maybe take 5 minutes. You might not even need that to do that. And then we'll come back and I'll go through the answers with you. So right now, go ahead and pause the video and start. Okay, so let's take a look at number 1. Classify the angle. And so just by looking at that angle over here on the right, what kind of angle is that? So is it a right, acute, or obtuse, or straight angle? In this case, it is an obtuse, and this can't spell, an obtuse angle. There, I did it again. Look at that. And there we go. All right, highlight that. So obtuse angle for number 1. Number 2, is angle 1 and angle 4 in this picture to the right adjacent or vertical angles? So angle 1 and angle 4, they're directly across from each other, opposite of each other. And so in that case, they are considered vertical. So right here. Second question there is angle 5 and angle 6 adjacent or vertical. So now you're looking at 2 other angles in this picture. Angle 5 and 6 are right next to each other here. So when they're right next door and they share a common vertex and they share a ray, a common side, then those are considered adjacent. Okay. Now number 3. We did this type of problem. It was one of the last problems we did in Tuesday's lesson. And when we did it in the book, it was exactly like this, except for it was on the John Hancock Center in Chicago. And you had to find some missing degree measurements. So I'm telling you here in number 3, if angle 2 is 77 degrees, again, type that in. So 2 equals 77 degrees. And then we need angle 1. We need angle 3. And we need to be able to find angle 4. So if angle 2 is 77, directly across from that, angle 4 is directly opposite. And so we know that those are vertical and they are congruent in the same measurement. So angle 4 is also going to be 77 degrees, okay, because they're vertical angles. Now, angle 1 and angle 3. So if we know angle 2 is 77 degrees and we need to find angle 1. So in the book lesson on Tuesday, we talked about how this is a straight line here. And that straight line that is supporting angle 1 and angle 2, that is a straight angle and it's 180 degrees. So that means both of these angles, angle 1 and 2 added together, have to equal 180 for this straight line. So if I know that it's 180 degrees, and I know angle 2 is 77, right? I'm going to subtract those two. And that's going to tell me what angle 1 is. Now remember, we classified angles, but that's what we've been learning to do. And when you look at angle 1, that's an obtuse angle. It has to be something that is greater than 90 degrees. So when you subtract these two right now, let me do that on mine, you're going to get 103 degrees. So angle 1 is 103 degrees. And you know what? Let me highlight that. All right. We know angle 2 is 77 degrees. So, and angle 4 is 77. So we have one angle left. Okay, we have angle 3. Angle 3 is directly across from angle 1. Remember, these are vertical and congruent. So if angle 1 is 103 degrees, angle 3 is also 103 degrees. Okay. So your warm-up is based on what we did in lesson 1 over the course of the 2 days. And if you're still confused on, especially problem number 3, you know that we're here to support you and answer your questions. So if you're still not sure how that works, please ask us because you'll see a question like that on your quick check coming up on Monday. All right, so let's go back to the agenda for a minute. And on here, we're going to head into lesson 2. So I'm going to meet you back on a separate video. We're going to stop this video, and the next video here, we're going to go through your vocabulary sheet, and we're going to define what complementary and supplementary means. I'm going to show you a couple of videos, and then we're going to head into the book. So in front of you, what I would have ready to go is that Chapter 7 vocabulary sheet that you received on Monday. If you by chance have misplaced it or you can't find it, there are links here to the front and back side of that worksheet. You can pull those up, and then we'll look through the book as well. So vocab sheet, book in front of you ready to go, and I will meet you back in the next video.